Hey guys, Andy here, learnenglish232.com. It's been 7 long years since I made a video, so I thought now would be a perfect time to get back into it. I see the comments on YouTube, and a lot of people are saying, oh, you got to keep going, you're learning stuff from it. So a lot of stuff's happened, a lot of life changes and whatnot, but overall, other than COVID 19, which is getting everybody down, hopefully, we'll figure that out soon. Life's pretty good. Things are good. So I'm looking forward to getting back into that. So if you're seeing this, please subscribe if you haven't, or like the video, even if you have some suggestions for improvements, whatever, and write it down. This is actually the third time I'm doing this video. I just recorded it with Ad over there. Maybe he'll get on a video soon, a few minutes ago. So I'm a little bit frustrated because that didn't work. We tried to do it last week and there was the same problem. But I'm feeling lucky, feeling like this one could work here. And today's video, we're going to use a different form now. Instead of my messy handwriting at the whiteboard, we're going to go high tech with some slides and some pictures so you can actually take a look. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, so you can see what I'm talking about. It's a lot easier to grasp the words and remember them. And now that I'm living in Canada, I've noticed so many different topics that where when I was in Asia before teaching English, I didn't even really think about these words, but now I'm thinking about how the culture and the lifestyle, and it doesn't have to be just Canada, but any Western country, it's a different lifestyle than a lot of people, than in a lot of parts of the world. So with this lifestyle come a lot of words and phrases and useful stuff, and we're only going to teach the most useful words and phrases to be exactly like a native speaker. So let's just dive in here to the first slide. Okay, I think I actually in my intro forgot to mention the topic today. And this topic is basically about houses, real estate, and if you're living in the West, the type of terms of where people live that you may miss or may not realize the importance of. So we're going to jump through those. Now, the first one is a really good one. It's urban, and that is just talking about big city living. An urban environment is a big city. So the bigger the city, the more urban it is. The smaller it is, the less urban it is. If you hear a word like urbanization, it's talking about when a smaller town gets more developed and they build more roads, schools, houses, businesses, restaurants. More of that, more of a downtown feel means it's urbanization. And also when people move from the towns to a large city. Right now it's actually going the other way, but that's urbanization as well. Things becoming more urban. And that contrasts with the next slide here, and that is rural, which I've always thought was a funny word to say, but it's very useful. I've noticed a lot of non-native speakers tend to say countryside, like they live out in the countryside, which is fine, but it's actually not a term that native speakers use as often. They talk more about rural and rural places to live versus out in the countryside. So you might say, you know what, I'm sick of living in the city. I want to be by myself and my little family, and I'm going to go out in a small rural town and just do my own thing. Or it could be the opposite. You want to get out of your little rural town and have an exciting life in an urban big city environment somewhere. And the next one, now we're getting into the houses, the type of dwellings, houses that people live in that are useful to talk about. The first one, I think of it as a regular house. If you watch a Hollywood movie and you're looking at, what kind of house somebody lives in on a regular street, a detached house. And that is referring to a house that's not attached. It's not attached to anything. So you may have neighbors, you probably do, but the walls aren't connecting. So your house is just one house and you own all your walls, and then there's a space before you get to the neighbor. So it's not attached, it's detached. Could be urban, could be rural. And then another word that's useful is bungalow. And a bungalow is basically a single story house. It's one floor. So there's not two floors, just one main floor. So the bedrooms and the living room and the kitchen and all that's just on one floor. And they could be large, but just it's all on one area, one floor, I should say. And then you can go down to the basement. Sometimes it's called a basement when it's under the ground, whatever that space is under the ground's a basement. And you could have a finished basement, which is the next slide here. And that's often with a two-story house or a bungalow, they have a basement. And if it's finished, it means that you've put a floor, walls, paint, maybe a TV, maybe a bathroom and a fridge, depending on what you want, but you've turned it into a living space that you can live in. It's finished. All the work is done. You've made it into a regular living space. And it could have a rec room, which is a recreation room where it's like maybe you got your little workout equipment down there, or a pool table, or video games, or little sports, air hockey, darts, that kind of thing. Some people put like a wine cellar or a beer fridge, or a little mini bar down there. Lots of different stuff you could do, but it's a finished living space. And that contrasts with an unfinished basement, meaning basically you did nothing with it, and it's just the concrete, like in the photo here, just the concrete walls. You might have your air conditioner unit, your heater, furnace, the electrical panel down there, some plumbing stuff for the water, but really nothing else. So you can't live down there until you finish it, which is put walls and floors and insulation and electrical and everything that you'd want to make it more livable, so you could actually go down there. It wouldn't be freezing cold with nothing other than maybe you get some spiders and bugs down there, but that's about it. So that is, I think, enough words for today. So just a quick recap here. Urban, big city, think big city environment. Rural, small town, out in the countryside. Detached house, so regular house, the walls are not touching anybody else. Bungalow, one-story house. Finished basement, so a basement where all the work's done, you can live down there. Some basements, I didn't actually show a photo of this, they're either partially finished, which means you did some of it, or they call them finished, but they did such a poor job, it's unbelievable, because a lot of it's DIY or do it yourself. Some people do amazing DIY, and some on the other end of the spectrum, not so amazing. So it's kind of falling apart, maybe leaking, getting some water down there, who knows. But anyway, I just thought I'd mention that. Rec room, so the sports game room, recreation room, and an unfinished basement, just a concrete shell. When they build the house, they haven't done anything with it, so it makes it more valuable if you finish it, but you have to finish it properly. So something to keep in mind. But anyway, that's it for today's lesson. Looking forward to doing more, hopefully, and I'd love to see the comments. I'll get back to as many as I can, but let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, the whole thing, and we will see you very soon.